Okay guys, we passed our inspection. The electrician showed up to work. Such a sad day. Anyway, we passed the inspection, so we got to finish our privacy level here. It's going to go up one more course from what you see. And then the dirty kitchen, similarly. Not going to, this area will be open so the breeze can continue through. And if I can get it, we left a hole down at the bottom there. And that has been actually surprisingly bringing in good breeze. So there we go. Let's go up front here and look at that fence. Had to walk past Lynn there. She's arguing with Bogo Glass, and I said, there is no argument. Get to work. You live in a rainforest. You have raincoats. Don't care. Get on your bikes. Get to work. Just because it's a contract doesn't mean that we haven't got other people that have to get in here and get work done. And they're being held up by these guys. Everybody thinks that they're an individual on this planet. I am tired of it. Okay, so very shortly we're going to start working on this fence and figuring out how we're going to put everything in place. Once we get a plan, just keep repeating it. So I will be fully involved in this first stage. It's unfortunate that it happened, but we're out by 3 inches all total over an 8-foot length. And so that was a big, big error. Again, if you missed it, we fired the crew, we fired one individual on Friday or Saturday, and then promptly went and talked to him and said, listen, we hired you guys because you are 3 Masoons. You're supposed to be talking to each other. That's what you guys said you do. And you messed up big time. And he said he did. He said, okay, well, you're coming back. That's fine. You want to come back? He says, yes, sir. So that's fine, but you're going to come back as a helper. I'm not going to pay you Masoon rates, not for the rest of this run here. And so, that's what we're going to do. Now, he is not a key Masoon. He's an old school Masoon. Okay, we got to get after this Bogo crew, Bogo Glass, leaving their garbage all over. I've told them, use Sackos. Yesterday was a flurry of mess because they've been pretty good up until now, but it's just literally everywhere. And I don't buy into the excuses. Okay, looking good down there. Michael is doing the finishing touches on the insulation. And then we will move on to that fence. Ma asked for an extension on the house, and we already have some material, so there we go. So these dwarf coconuts are going to be looked at for transportation up to the agrarian property. Lynn has got some more moringa branches, which are going to be added into these gardens once the guys are finished the fence in this first little location, because as you notice, the driveway does a little zigzag. And so this area here where some soil is, you'll see that's the area that she's going to drop the moringa in there. And I don't know what she's going to do with, she wants to keep about 3 of these dwarf coconuts, so I'm not sure where she wants to lay these in. Yeah, and this is where we will try a couple of these laterals and putting in the mesh. And how we're going to go about that. That's the key here, guys, because we still have the verticals that we have to weld in to make it strong enough, right? Cool. And to point out, I guess, even though it looks like we built a ladder, the spacing on these is not enough to really get your foot in there to climb. But I have been vetoed, and that barbed wire is going to go on the top of that fence. When in Rome, guys. When in Rome.
Okay.
So,
Oh, wow. Look at that. It's mounted already. Natarong na gayud. Good job, guys. Aray, nakita kong star. Bakoy sunglass niya. Ka-powerful ni mga tawhana. Ay, way.
Don't look straight at it, eh? Not when they're welding.
I know. Ka-powerful. Ay, pagtanaw mo. Di na mayo. Makakita tag stars. Ka-powerful ni mga tawhana. Ay, way. Sir Michael, wa kay sunglass dito? Naaman tayo kuan, goggles. I am pointing. Piyong-piyong.
Makaego mo ko ni ma'am kanang kuanggod. Kanang aso ba?
Ang aso niya no, maoy makakuan sa mata.
Layo lang
I've taken over the camera, guys, because Lynn holds it like this and all sorts of things. Probably doesn't make much difference. It's about the content more about than anything else. Okay, so we've got a plan, and let's continue on with it. And as the guys need help, they can grab guys from here. This old carcass wants to talk to you about this self-builder. If you're going to do a self-build, guys, spend some time with your wife and reevaluate as you go along so that you can determine, is it you or is it the crew? Because ultimately, the boss is responsible. Yes, no? Oligarchs will try and pass all of this off to someone else and make it their responsibility by firing a manager or supervisor, etc. However, the buck stops here with this cat. So Lynn and I did some time yesterday evaluating, you know, where did we have those points where we couldn't figure out why the crew was dropping the ball. And really, it was those times where I was not involved enough. And Lynn also said, yeah, it was at times where I wasn't going in and just merely having a presence so that the guys kept flowing rather than letting us, why isn't so-and-so flowing? Why aren't they keep moving? Da, 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 da. So we have to ultimately take responsibility. And even with this fence, I was so busy in the house with Bogle glass and all of that sort of thing that I should have taken some time out or told them, come and get me when you're ready to do the next postie. And had I done that, this would have all flowed, guys. I know that these guys are Masoons, but we are Westerners, okay? And they know what they know, but we know other techniques. And that is where the problem comes in and where the kicker is that the buck has to stop here, especially with me, not so much Lynn. She needs to have her presence there just so that they will respect women more than men, right? I mean, that's just how things are. And that is that big part of this culture. There's a reason why I don't carry cash. They won't attack Lynn, but they will attack me. You know, we've been swarmed by kids before, as an example. So if you know those kind of boundaries, then you can start working with it. And like I say, if we do another project, boom, you know, we know a lot more than we did a year ago when we started. And in many ways, as much as we've had our hiccups with this crew, they have been sound as a pound. Sure, they've had their moments of being slow, but it gets hot here, guys. It gets very hot. And I don't think they thermally regulate very well either. They get a slight chill. They have fevers the next day. It's weird. But, you know, Lynn kind of went through this when she first went to Canada. It took her about a year, maybe 2 full seasons, 2 summers and 2 winters, for her system to understand how to start thermally regulating. You should have seen the amount of clothing she had and blankets and stuff when she went to sleep in that first winter. By the end of the second winter, back to as if she's in the Philippines. So again, when you go to start each of your major projects, be very, very, very hands-on. And I think that some of this could have been eliminated in this particular case had I been very hands-on, regardless of their qualifications. Because the Western thing, our way of wanting to do things isn't the same pulse as theirs. The next phase, guys. So a little bit crude, more than a little bit crude. But right now the guys need to get caught up on the finishing, so we've gone as far as we can there. And what we're doing now is what we would have done in the first place. We're going to take these full framed units, weld them onto that bar. The guys will start digging here, but then they can start the next hole right away. And It's going to take a little fiddle farting around here because underneath all of our chicken wire, it's oversized chicken wire, we put rebar all the way down and around to hold it down so nobody would lift it up and just crawl underneath, right? So anyway, the objective for the next hour, get the next postie in. Not going to worry about these bamboos. They can just rot. Although we might just do, and we might just pry them up, guys. Once we free it up enough in the area, we might be able to pry them out. Okay, here we go. And at that note, I'm going to say later, gators.